Hello and welcome to PolicyBazaar. I'm Arjun Bhagat. Now, there's no doubt that health is the most valuable asset that a person has. But given that medical expenses are rising faster than inflation, so will your health insurance policy coverage be enough? If not, a top-up policy may come to your aid, as it ensures that you don't have to spend from your pocket in case of higher claims. Now, to explain to us how a top-up health insurance plan works, we have with us Yashish Daya, CEO of PolicyBazaar and also its founder. Yashish, tell us what top-up health insurance plans are.
Suppose you have a 3 lakh rupee health insurance plan and you have a 5 lakh rupee claim. The top-up health insurance policy, if you have a 2 lakh rupee top-up health insurance policy, it will pay the additional 2 lakh rupees. Now, if you have a 3 lakh rupee policy and you have a 7 lakh rupee top-up health plan with a 3 lakh rupee first part which is not paid by that health insurance policy, then if you, in an unfortunate situation, suppose that individual has a 7 lakh rupee or a 8 lakh rupee health cost, that would get paid by a top-up policy. The reason these plans exist is a very simple concept. Most of the claims in health insurance are, the frequent claims are small. They are 20,000, 50,000, 2-day hospital stay, 5-day hospital stay. They are below 1 lakh rupees. However, very few claims are large and they are significant. However, certain health insurance companies, what they do is 1 lakh rupee policy, 1,000 rupees, 5 lakh rupee policy, 5,000 rupees. That is not correct, because obviously the frequency of claims at the higher level is much lower. So certain companies take advantage of that situation and they bring out top-up plans which are much lower in cost. And they only help in case you have one of those infrequent large claims. But if it's the normal hospitalization, that you can cover through your base health plan.
So what you're saying is that it actually saves you money as a rider, rather than increasing your health insurance, say, from 3 lakhs to 10. If you really want to go above a certain amount, then you take a rider of a top-up. Is that what you're saying?
A top-up is not just a rider. It is a plan by itself. So
okay, so it's separate.
It's a separate plan. So you could have the base plan from one insurance company, and you could have the top-up from another insurance company. So essentially, the top-up has got something which is the total sum assured, and you would have the first few lakhs which the insurance company will not pay, which either you will pay or your insurance company will pay. It is essentially like the amounts that you have, like a voluntary excess. That amount voluntarily, either the health insurance, another health insurance company or another plan will pay. This plan will not pay the first few lakhs or the first initial amount. After that, it will pay everything else. So it's basically used only in case of large claims, and that's what people are really afraid of, large claims, and that's where this comes in handy.
So it sounds a little complicated to get that claim back. Is it going to be more difficult, or is the exercise the same that one person has to go through, informing two companies in this case? I mean, those are a lot of questions that people have and say, I don't want to complicate my life, might as well just go for that one plan that I have.
So see, if you take a 10 lakh rupee health insurance cover for an individual, that will cost about 17,000 rupees, right? Whereas a 3 lakh rupee cover will cost about 4 lakh rupees. Let's say for a particular age I'm talking. So a 3 lakh cover is costing about 30% of a 10 lakh cover. So it's about 4,500 rupees, whereas a 10 lakh cover is, let's say, 15,000 rupees. Okay. Now you can get a top up from 3 lakh to 10 lakh for about 3,000 rupees. So essentially in 7,500 rupees,
huge saving there.
In 7,500 rupees, you've got a 3 lakh plus a top up of 7 lakhs. So you've got a 10 lakh rupee health policy. Now, of course, it is not as convenient, and we can get into the detail of it. It is not the same as having a 10 lakh policy. So there are certain differences there, but you are saving, your cost of the total plan is about half. And so if you are one of those people who is, everybody is not in that situation where you can just afford, and that's one of the reasons why people are not increasing their health cover. So if one is in that situation, average middle class person who's finding life a bit tough, then this becomes a mechanism for cost saving and getting pretty much the same benefit, because you're not likely to have too many of those large claims. But if you do have them in an unfortunate situation, yes, you will have a little bit of pain because you will have to make 2 claims, but you will get the money.
And this can work as a family cover as well?
This will work as individual covers. You have to take it for each individual.
All right, so it's not as if, it can't be part of a family health plan?
It can be added to a family health floater. However, the way it works, suppose it's a family of 4 people, and two people have a 2 lakh rupee claim, and they have a family floater of, let's say, 5 lakhs, and if they have taken, one of these plans which has got a 10 lakh rupee sum assured, and which has, let's say, a 3 lakh rupee voluntary excess, then none of those individuals, while overall they have spent 4 lakh rupees, none of those individuals would be allowed to take any advantage of the top-up plan, because it has to be a single claim by a single person that has to exceed the voluntary excess.
The level.
The voluntary excess.
All right. So, let's take one step back and let's do that comparison between a top-up and a traditional health plan. A full-fledged health plan there.
So, when an individual takes a 10 lakh rupee full-fledged health plan, what happens is they can make as many claims as they want. They can make 10 claims of 1 lakh rupees each. Very unlikely. How can things be happening that frequently to a person? But theoretically, it's a possibility that you could use the 10 lakh rupees through multiple, claims. However, when one takes a top-up plan,
right,
you're allowed a single claim has to exceed. So suppose one has 5 claims of 2 lakh rupees in a year, then the top-up plan cannot be used. The top-up plan can only be used if the person has a base policy of 3 lakhs and a top-up plan of another 7 lakhs.
So for one single payout,
a single claim has to cross the 3 lakh threshold for the top-up to become active.
So you can't cumulatively use it.
You can't cumulatively use it. Now that's the disadvantage. Now a point to be noted is within 45 days, if there's a recurrence of the disease, then it's counted as the same disease. So technically you can't really have 10 because there aren't 10 zones within a year, if you see what I mean, because they're not 10 45 days in a year. So it's a technicality. Practically, it's pretty much the same as, because how many frequent large events would one have which are separated from each other by 45 days? So one has one big event, and then 45 days pass, nothing happens, and suddenly another big event happens. Now that's pretty unlikely, and that's pretty unlucky. In that eventuality, the top-up plan will not be able to help you. Otherwise, the top-up plan will help you.
So clearly there are certain advantages, a lot of advantages of top-up plans. What about the tax advantages? Can you combine that with the tax advantages you get as far as...
Absolutely. So the tax advantage that you receive on the amount you are investing, as long as it's within the prescribed total limit of 35,000, which is 15,000 rupees for individual and 20,000 for the senior citizens, it's absolutely authorized.
So how does an individual go about looking for the best top-up plan, and also which are the ones that are really available right now?
So most companies have a top-up plan. So there's one by Apollo, there's one by Star, there's one by Max. Most companies have a top-up plan. You have to ask for it. Now, most distributors, including some of the people who work in our call center, are not very happy providing this top-up plan. The simple reason is they get paid as a percentage of premium, right? So if the premium is 15,000 rupees, and let's say their commission is 15%, they're going to make 2,500 rupees, 2,250 rupees. But if the premium is 7,000 rupees and you get pretty much the same benefit, they're going to make a lot less. So that is the reason why top-up plans are not promoted very aggressively. But you as a consumer, if you want a top-up plan, you can ask for it. They are available. They are available, for example, on our portal. They're available everywhere else. You just need to ask for it and you will receive it. And you have to understand there is a financial benefit to it. But there is the additional risk that if multiple large claims happen, the top-up plan will not come in handy. So it will help you in one large claim.
Well, what about voluntary deductibles from a top-up plan? I mean, can you explain that concept?
So voluntary deductible is what we were talking about so far. So if you have a 10 lakh rupee top-up plan and your voluntary deductible is 3 lakh rupees, that essentially means the first 3 lakh rupees will not be paid for by this plan. The first 3 lakh rupees one may pay individually, or one may use a existing health insurance policy to pay for it. It is only after the first 3 lakhs of a single claim has been covered, has been exhausted, that the top-up plan comes in. It's exactly like the voluntary excess you have in a car. So many people will have a 10,000 rupee, because for 10,000 rupees you don't want to make the claim, it's a headache, right? So some people will say, okay, up to 10,000 rupees I'll take a voluntary excess, I'll spend it on my own. If it is 20,000 rupees, then I wanted to pay 10,000 rupees. If it's 2 lakh rupees, I wanted to pay 1,90,000 rupees. The voluntary excess works in exactly the same way.
So what about the criteria that companies have in terms of medical tests? Because for health insurance plans, there are medical tests which are required.
That is another advantage of the top-up plans. So the top-up plans can provide Now,
and what about the exclusions and inclusions? Because, you know, that's another question that people have.
Certain exclusions are there, the same as a normal health policy, where pre-existing diseases, etc., are excluded for a certain number of years, and every plan has a different. However, these plans are far more relaxed in terms of medicals compared to the base health plans, and there's a reason for it. See, one of the biggest reasons in insurance is something known as a moral hazard. A moral hazard is where it doesn't cost me a thing, and I go and use a facility. So I'm not really sick, but I go to the hospital because I have an insurance plan, right? And that's why co-payments and all these things become very, very important for insurance companies to protect themselves. In this case, the first 3 lakhs is going to be paid by your health cover, which implies that infrequent, frivolous claims, you know, somebody going to a hospital and sitting there for 10 days, not going to cost you 3 lakh rupees, right? So frivolous, infrequent claims, they're not really worried about that. These are only serious diseases which happen once in a while. When they happen, that's what insurance is meant for. Insurance becomes more and more important when the frequency is low and the impact is high. So it becomes very important. But the insurance company is not worried about moral hazard to that extent. And hence, a few of the things like medicals, etc., become a lot easier. So yes, it can be a way for people who are finding it hard to get a large cover to also get this top-up plan, which can provide them similar
So
cover.
certainly worth taking a look and studying it, and also
Absolutely.
taking up one of these plans, because there are certain advantages.
There is a certain lack of clarity in terms of what you would call moving from portability. So while the base health plan is portable, there is a lack of clarity on whether a top-up plan can also be ported. So we haven't tried it. No customers come and asked us for it, and we don't know how the pragmatics of it would actually work. So that's a caveat that, you know, does need to be explained.
Right. Well, it's time for a break, and when we come back, we're going to be taking your questions. But you can also write to us on Twitter. It's at @PolicyBazaar_in. You can email us on ask@PolicyBazaar.com, and we'll see you shortly after this break. Keep watching.
Sunburn rides on Hero.
How was that?
It was magic.
Sing up life with magic moments, music CDs.
There are many ways to the next level. What's yours?
The new Zolo Q1000 Opus with Broadcom quad-core processor, multi-satellite assisted GPS, super bright display. Move up to the next level.
इस बार या तो चोरी नहीं होगी या चोट नहीं होगा। सर्कस वाला हूँ, करतब दिखाने की आदत है।
Southern Stories, Southern Concerns. For an in-depth, comprehensive look at the news from the peninsula, join me, T.S. Sudhir, and my team from South India every weekend at these times on Headlines Today.
And got it!
I believe that every day is a test where I have to prove myself. That destiny and hard work, they go hand in hand. It doesn't matter where you come from, as long as you believe in yourself. I believe in me.
Ask me for the woman of spirit.
एक्सक्यूज मी सर, ये मेरा इस्तीफा। क्यों सर? यहाँ के ट्यूबलाइट से मेरे को एलर्जी होता है सर। ओके।
मुझे यहाँ का वास्तु पसंद नहीं है।
रॉकेट साइंस सीखना है। मुझे बॉलीवुड में जूनियर आर्टिस्ट का रोल मिला है सर। सर मेरा
क्या कोई
resignation।
मजाक है क्या? एक से एक घटिया रीजन देके रिजाइन कर रहा है?
आपने मोहित को HIV के कारण जॉब से निकाला था, वो नहीं था घटिया रीजन।
भेदभाव उनके साथ कीजिए जो HIV पॉजिटिव लोगों के साथ भेदभाव करते हैं।
मोहित, मेरा इस्तीफा। क्या है यहाँ का बॉस ठीक नहीं है यार। सॉरी यार। काम कीजिए आप लोग।
HIV एड्स अपनेपन को नहीं मार सकता।
13 hours of Bollywood on a very slow, very old bus. My personal entertainment is certainly a plus. I'm lost in translation and maybe lost in person. I'd better find a shortcut before the weather worsens. It gets lonely when there are no other humans. That is why I say to you, there's nothing like reunions.
मैं सिर्फ कार इंश्योरेंस रिन्यू कर रहा था बिना कंपेयर किए। डू यू ऑल बाय इंश्योरेंस विदाउट कंपेयरिंग? PolicyBazaar.com पे जाओ, पॉलिसी साइड बाय साइड कंपेयर करो और पैसे बचाओ। PolicyBazaar.com।
Don't rest till you download the internet.
The MTS M-Blaze Ultra, now on 3G Plus network.
रुको रुको रुको, मैडम लड़कियां पानी भरने जा रही हैं। अरे अरे
बड़े बाबू
जी मैडम।
स्कूल लड़कियां कहाँ हैं?
टाइम कहाँ है मैडम? 2-4 कोस दूर जाना पड़ता है पानी भरने के लिए। अरे अरे चलिए हटिए। मैडम जी इससे क्या होगा?
बड़े बाबू वीजा डेबिट है, आसानी से इंटरनेट पे भी चलता है। वेरीफाइड बाय वीजा होने के कारण आपके कार्ड को पासवर्ड सुरक्षित रखता है।
पानी भोला कब घर आवेगा, पढ़ लिख गई तो सासे सखियों खाली कुआं भर जावेगा। बड़ा मकोड़ा छोटे कीड़े।
लड़कियां स्कूल नहीं जा सकती तो स्कूल तो लड़कियों के पास आ सकता है ना?
Visa debit, dream to advance. We at Renault have seen the new unstoppable India. And we've made a new car for it. The big, beautiful, and efficient Renault Duster, made for the unstoppable Indian.
Welcome back to Policy Bazaar. I'm Arjun Bhagat and with me is Yashish Dhaya and we're taking your questions. We've got Mubarak Ali from Hyderabad. He says, I'm 25 years old and he wants to buy a health policy for his father who's 55 and he doesn't have any ailments, but he has a concern. He feels that the companies will not reimburse him the costs when required. Yashish.
Look, a lot of claims are paid and a huge majority of claims are paid, and nowadays companies make it a priority to pay these claims on time and very quickly. And I have myself been in many of these meetings where companies are really reviewing how quickly they are working on claims. They work alongside doctors, they work alongside the hospitals in trying to make sure that the claims are processed fast. Now, as far as the individual concerned, at 55 years of age, he wants to take a health policy. It's a bit late, but he must take a health policy. There are lots of options available. There's Star Health, which provides plans up to 69. There is ICICI, which provides plan up to 70. There is Oriental, which provides a plan up to lifetime, forever. There is Religare and Max Bupa, which also provide plans forever. Apollo provides plans up to 75 years of age. L&T Insurance provides plans up to 75 years of age. So there's a lot of coverage available. He's saying his father is healthy, should not have a problem with medicals, should go ahead, should first consider these plans, talk to someone and figure out which companies are likely to take him on given the situation, and complete the medicals. He will have to go through medicals and complete the medicals and take the plan. He must take as large a plan as he can afford. He should try to take a critical illness also along with it, because that's going to come in quite handy.
Thanks, Yashish. We've got Rishabh Pathak from Durgapur. He says, my brother wants to invest in Kotak's assured income insurance plan for 1 lakh rupees annually. It's a traditional plan and he's holding a one-term plan of LIC and one from Komal Jeevan policy for his daughter, and he's now planning to invest in a traditional plan for the tax-saving purposes. Please advise, can assured income plans be doable or not?
It's a good plan. So first of all, congratulations to his brother. He's done a good job by having a term plan and, Jeevan Komal, which is more of a child plan.
There.
It's a well distributed. He's got a child plan, he's got a term plan, so his basic things are sorted. If he took a health plan, that will be better. But it's good that he's starting to plan for investment. The AIP, the short income plan, is a good plan from Kotak. It gives a decent return over a 20-year period. I think the plan is ending on 31st of December. So if he does want to take it, he should take it now. He should understand the returns and be comfortable with it. It will give him a return of about 6 to 7% if he's expecting anything more, but it is after tax. So when you invest money into an FD, even if you keep it for 5 years and you specifically go for a 5-year FD, even then when you receive the money back, taxes do need to be paid on that amount, even though the initial investment goes tax-free. So he needs to think about that particular piece. The discipline is much better in these plans. So he's got discipline, he's got time, and he's got a return of about 6% that will come through.
Right. Thanks, Yashish. We've got Radhika Shaw from Lucknow. Go ahead, Radhika.
Yeah, I'm 25 years old and I'm working in an MNC. I'm a non-smoker. I'm planning to take a term plan for 30 years, for which should amount to at least 5 crores. I've done my analysis and I have a few questions. Why is there so much of a difference in the annual premium for different policies? And could you please advise me as to which is the best term plan to go for? And I also have another question. I wanted to understand what is the suicide clause in a term plan?
All right. So we've got Radhika asking us about term plans. She says she's 25 years old. She's a non-smoker. And she's asking the difference in costs as far as term plans are concerned. And also, she wants to know a bit about the suicide clause.
See, the suicide clause is very straightforward. If somebody commits suicide within the first year of the policy, their family does not get paid. One obviously should not commit suicide. It's a crime anyway. But if there is a suicide beyond the first year, payouts are made. Payouts will not be held back basis the fact that it was a suicide. Now, as far as the price difference is concerned, you've got about 5-6 plans now. So you've got SBI, Tata, Aegon, Aviva, Bharti AXA, Max New York Life, pretty much at the same price band. Just slightly above them, you've got HDFC. So you've got a huge variety out there, and the gap is not too much. The gap is 5%, 10%. So my view is the consumer needs to now move. The price has come down significantly. The consumer does not need to now just look at price. They need to be comfortable with the plan they are taking. They need to be comfortable with how they're going to get the payouts, whether they will get it in one go, whether they would get it in a deferred manner. I personally would be far more comfortable with a deferred plan, primarily because my family's income over a very long period of time.
But those plans haven't really come.
They're there now. So Max New York and Aviva have launched their deferred income plans. And essentially the way these plans work is one's family gets paid an income over a very long period of time. So one is assured that, if you have young children, they would be 25, 30 years old before, the income stops. And that's a far better way of getting paid than getting paid in one lump, a single amount. That single amount, there may not be very good investment of the single amount. It's the same reason why you take insurances for protection, right? So that's, my view is that deferred plans are far better option.
Right, we've got Shivam from Amritsar. He says, I'm insured under the family floater health policy from a private insurance company. During the first year of policy, my wife suffered with cancer and she got operated for that. The insurance company helped with all the hospitalization claims. Last week, there was a renewal of the policy and I wanted to enhance the sum assured, for which the insurance company denied verbally as there were claims in the first year. So what should he do? He says, I have written to IRDA, also if there was any special provision for a disease like cancer for enhancement of that sum assured. So what should he do?
Currently, there isn't anything in the country. See, it's an unfortunate situation when a claim happens.
However, he said he's got a verbal, he's talked to them verbally.
Yeah, even if you talk to them verbally or in writing, they would refuse. It's very straightforward. I take on insurance risk, knowing that there's a chance an event can happen. One of the reasons why the gentleman wants to enhance the cover is he's a little more confident that costs are going to come.
Right.
In that situation, the insurance companies will not help. The insurance companies take on a risk. They don't take on a certain cost. Insurance is not meant for that. Financial planning is meant for that. So these are the reasons why people have to upfront take high covers. See, the company is not denying renewal. The company is not denying extendability. The company may not even be doing a claims-based loading, because many companies provide those options now. However, if you ask the company that, look, I'm going to come back and ask for a certain cost, which I'm quite confident I'm going to ask for, my sum assured is 3 lakhs, I want to take it to 10 lakhs, the company can't be doing it. Like it's, you know, if you were sitting in the company's position, you wouldn't do it. So it's that straightforward.
Thanks, Yashish. Now, that's all the time that we have on this show of Policy Bazaar. But you can write to us on Twitter at @PolicyBazaar_in. You can email us at ask@policybazaar.com. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.